I've been trying to shake this feeling, but a recent Newcastle news story is still not sitting right with me. Allow me to explain that in this video. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Newcastle United Digest. It's the channel delivering tune content in bite-sized chunks. My name is Adam Snyder, and in this episode, I'm going to explore a recent Newcastle story that seems a little bit, off to me. This story is the announcement about Anthony Gordon's long-term contract extension a few weeks ago. As we all know, Anthony Gordon signed with Newcastle at the end of January 2023 transfer window. He left a very difficult situation with a struggling Everton side, where he was seeing diminishing playing time and an increase in fan abuse off the pitch. Gordon scored 7 goals over a season and a half with Everton's senior side, but that just was not good enough for the winger or their fans. Even before the rumors of Gordon possibly signing with Newcastle, I saw the videos of fans hurling objects at Gordon's car before and after games, and it was clearly a situation where the England Youth International was in desperate need of a way to get out of Liverpool. That lifeline came in the form of Newcastle United. On the day he signed, he saw just how amazing Newcastle fans really are. He was at the Metro Center and was doing some shopping, and while he was there and throughout the craziness of signing day, he completely forgot to charge his phone. And while he was shopping at the Metro Center, it died. So he had no way to call a cab, he had no way to call his contacts at the club, and he was stranded there. Fortunately, there were some Newcastle fans who knew who he was, and they were kind enough to give him a ride back to where he was staying. To this day, he still tells that story, and he has a big smile on his face when he does it. In true Eddie Howe fashion, Gordon saw very limited playing time in the rest of the campaign in 2023, and he did score his first Newcastle goal in the very last game of the season, a 1-1 draw against Chelsea. That summer, Gordon played in the U21 Euro Championship, and he easily played the best football of his career up to that point. His confidence was sky high after that tournament, and rightfully so. He did not let it go to his head, and he carried that form into Newcastle season last year. The 2023-24 season was a career high for him by far. He scored 12 goals and contributed 11 assists in all competitions last season. It was successful enough to warrant him a call-up to the England senior side a year after he played in the U21 championship. Unfortunately, Gareth Southgate only played him for a single minute, coming on as a last-minute sub in the group match against Slovenia. England fans across the country, especially in Newcastle, were very, very angry and baffled not to see him feature more in the tournament, especially in situations where he could have made a massive impact in that game. While the Euros were going on, Newcastle faced a major dilemma involving the Premier League's profitability and sustainability rules. The PSRs allowed for a set amount of losses over a 3-year period, and Newcastle was on the brink of overstepping the £105 million threshold over 3 years that is set by the Premier League. This meant they had to sell off some players, and Gordon's name was touted quite a bit. Rumors about him going to Liverpool were the loudest, and it seemed very plausible that Gordon would welcome a return to his boyhood club. Fortunately, that did not happen, and we ended up having to do a fire sale of some very promising youth players. Yakuba Minta went off to Brighton, and we also sold Elliot Anderson to Nottingham Forest. I'm not sure if it was the ongoing contract talks, the immense toll of the previous 12 months matches had on him, but Anthony Gordon looked like he was in a bit of a sophomore slump to begin the 2024-25 campaign. As contract talks progressed, he started regaining some of his confidence, and he looked more fit in the later stages of matches. When the contract was announced, it was not a surprise to anybody. Gordon is a loved player on Tyneside, and he loves playing for Newcastle. What really surprised me were the missing details in the announcement. Allow me to explain this a little bit more. I've been seeing a lot of contract announcements from other clubs across, not just the Premier League, but across Europe as well. Usually what happens is you see the length of the extension, especially if it's a long-term one. They're very proud of this, as if they're saying, hands off, he's mine, he's not for sale. In some cases, you see special shirts made to mark the occasion. One example of this is Julian Alvarez getting a Man City extension until 2028. And in Bayern Munich, Kingsley Coman getting an extension until 2027. Other notable long-term extensions get graphics on social media, like Emi Martinez getting an extension with Aston Villa, or they get an announcement on the Premier League social media channels, like Bruno Fernandes with Manchester United. Anthony Gordon's announcements included none of these things. The length of the contract extension was not announced, and it has not even been included on player profile sites like transfermarket.com. The financial terms of deals like this are rarely included in the club press release, but it usually finds its way into the media. This also hasn't happened with Gordon's extension. If the terms are so secret, it's worried the contract was extended to boost his value in the transfer market and not secure him as a long-term part of the squad. It could be a ploy to get the maximum return on their 40 to 45 million pound transfer fee that they paid Everton. And if there's any whiff of availability coming from Newcastle, you can bet that the top clubs will be sniffing around like crazy. If this happens, we could be without a key figure in Newcastle's attack for an extended period of time. The additional PSR cushion would allow us to bolster the squad a bit further, and it could ultimately make the squad stronger in the long run. But in the short term, it could suck. In the time I've followed Newcastle, this has happened a few times. In the 90s, they sold Andy Cole to Manchester United to pay for Alan Shearer. After Liverpool sold Fernando Torres for £50 million, they had this big wad of cash burning a hole in their pocket, and they were desperate for a striker. They came knocking on Newcastle's door, and they ended up selling Andy Carroll to Liverpool for 35 million quid. It was a big protest point and an anger point for a long time with Newcastle fans, but ultimately they did reinvest in the squad, ended up buying players like Demba Ba, Papa Cisse, Fabrizio Colaccino, Musa. I think Colaccino was there before that. And they ended up signing players like Demba Ba, Papa Cisse, Musa Sissoko, Yohan Kabaya with that 35 million quid. That led the Mags to the Europa League under very polarizing manager Alan Pardew. Ultimately, I would like to see Gordon stay in the squad as he provides a wealth of skill and pace in our attack. He also loves to press, and he loves that style of play, and he has expressed that he loves that style of play, and he loves playing for Eddie Howe. Unfortunately, the PSR rules are not going away anytime soon, so we will have to expect some player sales to make the squad better. Gordon could be a sacrifice, or we could see another big name depart in the next 1 to 2 windows. Only time will tell. So what do you think? Do you think Gordon will be the sacrificial lamb that departs Newcastle this year? And if not, who else do you think will be in the shop window in January and or next summer? Leave your thoughts in the comments below and let us know if there are any other news stories you'd like me to go into depth about and research a little bit more and present it to you. And once again, if you've made it this far, please like the video if you liked it. If you made it this far and you liked what you hear, or if you didn't like what you hear, still like the video. And if you like seeing Newcastle United content in bite-sized chunks, hit that subscribe button and also hit the bell next to it to be alerted when new videos come out. Once again, my name is Adam Snyder. This is the Newcastle United Digest saying, "Ahoy the lads, bye for now."